Rohan, a 10-year-old whirlwind of a fifth grader, had a favorite phrase: "It's not fair." It tumbled from his lips like a rogue snowball, gathering size and force with each use. If his sister, Priya, got the bigger slice of pizza, it's not fair. If he had to share his toys, it's not fair. If his mom asked him to study before playing, it's not fair, even if it rained while he was playing in the park. It was, you guessed it, it's not fair. His constant complaints earned him a reputation. His classmates greeted him with, "It's not fair, how are you?" His teachers sighed inwardly when they saw him approaching. Even his own family, weary from his endless pronouncements of injustice, sometimes found themselves joining in the teasing. Rohan truly believed the world was conspiring against him. He saw unfairness everywhere, a vast invisible force constantly thwarting his desires. He wanted to play video games all day. Homework was not fair. He wanted the last cookie. Priya getting it first was not fair. He wanted to stay up late. Bedtime was, predictably, not fair. One day, during their value education class, Mrs. Sharma, a kind woman with twinkling eyes, noticed Rohan slumped in his seat, muttering under his breath, "It's not fair," after a classmate got a higher mark on a quiz. She gently called him to the front of the class. "Rohan," she said softly, "I've noticed you use that phrase quite a lot. Tell me, what does fair mean to you?" Rohan shrugged. "It means getting what I want when I want it," he mumbled, avoiding eye contact. Mrs. Sharma smiled. "That's one way to look at it," she said. "But fairness isn't just about getting what you want. It's about everyone having a chance, about sharing, about understanding that life isn't always equal, but it can be just." She drew a picture on the board, a simple seesaw. "Imagine this seesaw is life," she explained. "Sometimes one side is higher than the other. Sometimes you're on the higher side, and sometimes you're on the lower side. But a seesaw works best when both sides are balanced, right?" She pointed to a student. "Imagine this student is you, Rohan. You are on the higher side of the seesaw. You have all the things you want. But what if you always stay on the higher side? The seesaw won't work, will it? It's important to understand that sometimes others need to be on the higher side too. Sometimes you need to share the higher side." She then told the class a story about a group of birds sharing a single, small tree during a storm. Each bird wanted the best branch, the safest spot, but they learned that by sharing and helping each other, they all survived the storm. Life isn't always fair in the way you think it should be. Rohan, Sharma continued, "There will be times when you don't get what you want, when things seem unfair. But true fairness isn't about always winning. It's about being kind, understanding, and sharing. It's about seeing things from other people's perspectives." That day, Rohan didn't say it's not fair. He listened intently, his usual grumbling replaced by a thoughtful silence. He started to think about what Mrs. Sharma had said. He thought about Priya, about his friends, about his parents. He realized that sometimes he was the one on the higher side of the seesaw, and he hadn't been sharing. Over the next few weeks, a gradual change came over Rohan. He still felt frustrated sometimes, but instead of immediately shouting, "It's not fair," he paused. He tried to see things from other people's points of view. He learned to share more willingly, to compromise, and to understand that life wasn't always about getting exactly what he wanted. He even helped Priya with her homework sometimes, and surprisingly, it felt good. He still got teased occasionally, but the teasing felt different now. It wasn't as hurtful because he understood that sometimes even teasing could be a way of showing that people cared. He learned that fairness wasn't about winning all the time, but about being a good friend, a good brother, and a good person. And that, he realized, was far more rewarding than getting the biggest slice of pizza. The "It's Not Fair" boy was slowly becoming a boy who understood the true meaning of fairness.